The morning sun had barely risen when Ethan arrived at Grant's Auto Garage. The smell of oil and metal filled the air, and the sound of clanging tools echoed in the distance. Ethan tied his apron, wiped his greasy hands on a rag, and smiled, another long day of honest work. Around mid-morning, an old, battered car coughed its way into the garage. The engine rattled, smoke curling from the hood. Out stepped an elderly woman in a faded coat, her silver hair neatly tied back. She looked fragile, almost lost among the noise of the busy shop. "Excuse me, son," she said softly, "my car's been making strange noises, and I don't have much money." Her hands trembled as she opened her worn purse, revealing a few crumpled bills. Ethan's heart ached. "Don't worry, ma'am. Let me take a quick look," he said kindly. He opened the hood, his skilled eyes spotting the problem instantly, a cracked belt and leaking oil seal. It wasn't a small repair, but he could see her desperation. When she asked how much it would cost, Ethan hesitated. "Ma'am, I'll fix it for free. You don't owe me anything." Her eyes widened. "Oh no, I can't let you do that." Ethan smiled. "Sometimes we fix more than just cars. We fix days, too." He spent hours repairing her old vehicle, skipping his lunch break. When he finally started the engine, it purred like new. Tears glistened in the woman's eyes as she clasped his hands. "You're a good boy, Ethan. God bless your kind heart." As she drove away, Ethan didn't notice the shadow standing behind the office window, his boss, Mr. Grant, watching every moment with a hard, calculating stare. The next morning, the garage buzzed with the usual noise of wrenches and engines, but Ethan felt unusually light. Helping Mrs. Patterson had filled his heart with quiet pride. He greeted his coworkers cheerfully, unaware that storm clouds were already gathering above him. Around noon, a sharp voice called from the office, "Ethan, in here." Now, it was Mr. Grant, the owner, a man known more for his temper than his kindness. Ethan wiped his hands and walked in, still smiling. "Sir, is everything all right?" he asked politely. Mr. Grant leaned back in his chair, his face cold. "I saw what you did yesterday," he said. Ethan's smile grew. "Oh, you mean Mrs. Patterson's car. She couldn't afford." "Don't act like a hero," Grant snapped, slamming his hand on the desk. "You worked for free on my time. Do you think this is a charity?" Ethan blinked, stunned. "Sir, she was an old woman in need. It was just one repair. One repair that cost me money." Grant shouted. "You don't make decisions here." "I do. You're fired." The words hit harder than a hammer. Ethan's throat tightened. "Please, Mr. Grant, I need this job. I was just trying to help." But the boss's eyes were like stone. "Get out. I don't pay mechanics to play savior." Ethan stood frozen for a moment, then silently gathered his few tools. As he walked past the rows of cars, his coworkers avoided his eyes. The sound of engines and laughter felt far away now. Outside, he looked up at the gray sky, clutching his toolbox. He didn't regret helping that old woman, but he couldn't stop wondering why kindness had cost him everything. 3 days had passed since Ethan lost his job. He spent his mornings scanning newspaper ads and evenings staring at unpaid bills. Still, he held no anger, just quiet sadness. Somewhere deep down, he hoped life would turn around. Meanwhile, at Grant's Auto Garage, business continued as usual, until a shiny black Mercedes pulled up outside. Everyone paused. From the car stepped Mrs. Patterson, dressed elegantly this time, her gentle face glowing. Beside her stood a tall man in a crisp gray suit, radiating quiet authority. Mr. Grant hurried out, instantly changing his tone. "Welcome to Grant's Auto Garage. How can we help you?" he said with an oily smile. Mrs. Patterson looked around. "I was hoping to find a young mechanic named Ethan. He worked here a few days ago." Grant stiffened. "Ah, him, yes, but he's no longer employed here." "Why do you ask?" Before she could speak, the man beside her stepped forward. "I'm Robert Patterson," he said. "CEO of Patterson Motors, and Mrs. Patterson's son." Grant's fake smile faltered. "Oh, I didn't realize. My mother told me about a kind mechanic who fixed her car for free," Robert said sternly. "That man showed more heart than most businessmen I know." Grant swallowed hard. "It was against policy, sir. I had to." Robert cut him off sharply. "Policy. You punished kindness. You fired a good man for doing what was right. Mrs. Patterson nodded softly. That young man treated me like family when he owed me nothing. Robert's voice grew firm. I came here to offer Ethan a job, and to make sure he never works for someone like you again. Grant stood speechless as the powerful CEO turned and walked away, leaving his pride shattered. When Ethan's phone rang that evening, he almost didn't answer, another unknown number, probably a rejection. But the voice on the other end was calm and deep. Is this Ethan Walker? Yes, sir, Ethan replied cautiously. This is Robert Patterson, CEO of Patterson Motors. You helped my mother a few days ago. Ethan froze. Oh, Mrs. Patterson. I just did what anyone would. Robert interrupted kindly, not everyone would. I'd like to meet you tomorrow morning at our service center. I have an offer for you. The next day, Ethan arrived nervously at the modern, glass-walled workshop. It was unlike any place he'd worked before, spotless floors, state-of-the-art tools, and smiling employees. Robert Patterson greeted him with a firm handshake. My mother couldn't stop talking about you, Robert said. We need mechanics with your heart and skill. I'd like to offer you a position as lead technician. The pay is triple what you made before, and the job is yours if you want it. Ethan's eyes widened. Sir, I don't know what to say. Just keep being the person you are, Robert replied with a smile. Ethan accepted, his heart full. Weeks later, Patterson Motors released a short film online, The Mechanic with a Golden Heart. It told Ethan's story of compassion and integrity. The video spread like wildfire, touching millions around the world. Customers flooded Patterson Motors, asking for Ethan by name. Reporters called him, the hero mechanic. Across town, Mr. Grant watched the video from his empty office, regret burning inside him. The same kindness he once mocked had made Ethan a symbol of hope. For the first time, Ethan realized, goodness truly does come full circle. Months later, life had completely changed for Ethan. He now worked in a spotless uniform with his name embroidered on it, Ethan Walker, lead technician. His new job at Patterson Motors wasn't just about fixing cars anymore, it was about leading a team, inspiring them with the same kindness that once cost him everything. Each morning, he greeted his coworkers with a smile, always reminding them, do your best, and do it with heart. Customers loved him, and his reputation spread far beyond the city. One afternoon, as Ethan was heading home, he noticed a familiar building across the street, Grant's Auto Garage. The paint was peeling, and the once busy lot stood almost empty. A single car sat in front, and beside it stood Mr. Grant himself, looking weary and worn. Grant recognized Ethan immediately. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then, with a sigh, Grant said quietly, "You were right, Ethan. I was blinded by greed. I fired the best man I ever had." Ethan stepped closer, his expression calm. "We all make mistakes, sir. The important thing is what we learn from them." Grant nodded slowly. "I learned too late that kindness brings loyalty, not loss. I lost my business trying to save a few dollars." Ethan smiled gently. "It's never too late to start doing the right thing." They shook hands, and for the first time, Grant's eyes softened with genuine respect. As Ethan walked away, the evening sun bathed him in golden light. Mrs. Patterson's words echoed in his heart, "God bless you, Ethan." He smiled, knowing now that kindness was never weakness, it was power. The kind of power that could change lives, heal hearts, and rebuild worlds.